When Charlie and Nanako walked hand in hand in the quiet snowy night of Kyoto, Tokyo was still under currents. At this time, Maki Takahashi was at home, anxiously waiting for the news of Tenglin Ninja. The Tenglin family is more anxious than him. Because so far, the Tenglin family has lost 10 ninjas, and almost all the young backbone of the family has perished. Even though 10 people are not too many, a family with 10 young men is already a very large family. First of all, these 10 young adults have at least 1 or 2 generations of elders, mom and dad, aunts and uncles, grandparents, and at least 10 people in total. Secondly, these 10 young adults are all males, but it is impossible for all young adults in a family to be males. If the male-to-female ratio is 1:1, then there are at least 10 females in the family. Once again, at least half of the 10 young men are married and have children. They have wives and children. In this way, a family must have at least 50 or 60 people in order to have 10 male young adults. Now, the prime-age males of the Tenglin family have all been folded in, and the family's combat effectiveness has dropped sharply. In this case, naturally, there is no ability to separate manpower to protect Takahashi. Therefore, there is no ninja in Takahashi's home except for some bodyguards. It was late at night, and Takahashi was still not tired. On the one hand, he is still grieving for the tragic death of his son Aki. On the other hand, he wants to wait to see if he can still contact the missing Tenglin ninja. Although he knew subconsciously that the Tenglin ninja sent to Kyoto had been murdered 80% of the time, but deep in his heart, he still held a glimmer of hope. He felt that at least before he saw the corpse, there was still a possibility that things could come back. Maybe after a while, those Tenglin ninjas would contact him? Just as Takahashi was pacing back and forth in the living room, waiting anxiously, a very thin bow arrow suddenly shot out from the corner, and one shot hit Takahashi's back neck. Maki Takahashi, who had just suffered the pain of losing his son, had not had time to figure out how to avenge him, and suddenly he was poisoned and fell to the ground. The bodyguards discovered that he suddenly fell to the ground, and they gathered around him. After a closer look, they found that he had lost his breath and heartbeat. When the bodyguards searched for the murderer in amazement, the several Iga ninjas who had sneaked into the Tenglin family had already retreated. In normal times, the Tenglin family will arrange at least 4 ninjas to lurch beside him, secretly protect him and prevent him from being assassinated by other ninjas. But today, there is no ninja beside him. Without the protection of a ninja, just relying on ordinary bodyguards, in front of the ninja is almost like no one. Therefore, it is not difficult for the ninja to take the head of Takahashi. Poor Maki Takahashi, just as the white-haired man gave away the black-haired man, he died too. At the same time, just as Takehiko Ito fell asleep, he heard a knock on the door. He asked with some annoyance, "It's so late, what is there?" "If it's not something important, I'll talk about it tomorrow." Hiroshi Tanaka said in a hurry. "President, the police officer from the TMPD is here again, saying that there are still some things that need your cooperation to go to the TMPD for another questioning." "I have to face some questioning?" Takehiko roared angrily. "I have said everything that should be said, and there is nothing left to say." Tanaka explained. "My grace, the other party said that the Su family has been putting pressure on them, and it might cause an international diplomatic incident, so they ask you to cooperate." "International diplomatic incident?" Hearing this, Ito yelled angrily, "Damn, it's really annoying." Although he was very dissatisfied, Takehiko did not dare to continue at this time. He is a businessman after all. He knows very well that if he is really involved in international diplomatic events and affects Japan's international image, then Japanese citizens will definitely regard him as a criminal who smeared Japan's image. In this case, the people will spontaneously boycott the Ito family, which might make the family a target of public criticism. In this case, it is better to actively cooperate and clear up some of the relationships. So, Takehiko Ito got up from the bed angrily, simply put on his clothes and opened the door. Although Takehiko Ito was irritable, he could still understand the truth. "Anyway, I'm walking and sitting properly, don't say asking questions again, even if I stay in the TMPD for a few days first?" "So," he said to Tanaka Koichi, "you go to arrange the car, we will leave in a while." Hiroshi Tanaka nodded immediately and turned around to make arrangements. A few minutes later, under the escort of several bodyguards and 2 ninjas, Ito got into his car and prepared to go to the TMPD. At this time, Ryoto Matsumoto had already prepared Iga Ninja and other subordinates. He wanted to repeat the old tricks and find a suitable section of road to kill him on the way to the TMPD. Now Maki Takahashi is cold. As long as Takehiko is killed, he will be the strongest in Tokyo and even Japan. However, Ryoto Matsumoto didn't know that Master of the Su family had already surrounded his mansion at this time. The leader in the lead was not anxious to take people in immediately, but began to follow the actual situation of Ryoto Matsumoto's residence. Develop a strategy, hoping to wipe out the entire Matsumoto family. According to Zin's temper and disposition, if Mr. Matsumoto wants to kill his son and daughter, it is impossible for him to kill Matsumoto alone. The most hateful, and the most once and for all way is to destroy the Matsumoto family directly. The Su family has never been a soft-hearted family. From the anti-Wade alliance back then to the current top Chinese family, the Su family's style of work has always been cruel. 10 minutes after Takehiko left home, the vehicle is about to enter a 2-kilometer-long viaduct. This viaduct is a closed road.